What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Knuckles YouTube channel. Today is Way Back Wednesday, and what we're doing is reviewing another video of one of the greatest games of all times. Today, we're going to be looking at 2015. This is in the Spring Regional Championship. This is actually Madison, Wisconsin, and Evolving Skies has just released. Now, for those who don't know, the way that regionals worked in 2015 is you would play a standard format, and then day 2 you would go into expanded to make the price pool or the card pool much larger, right? So at the same time this is happening in Madison, there's another tournament that is actually happening in Atlanta, and at that time the winner was Trevenant Shaymin, and in second place was Sidestowed Shaymin. So once again, we got this theme of Shaymin EX, right? One of the best cards ever printed. It's unfortunately banned. And also in this video, we are going to look at Lysandre's trump card, a card that was banned right after this tournament, if I remember correctly. Like right after these two regional championships happened, there was an immediate ban of a Lysandre's trump card because of how broken it was. It was played in a ton of decks. I actually made day 2 of this of the Atlanta one. Not was it Atlanta or where was it at? Was it Atlanta? It just says Georgia. I think it was Athens, if I remember correctly. It's been a long time. This was 6 years ago. And today what we're going to look at is we got good old Jason right here, one of the best players of all time, and we are going to see him played Sidestowed Shaymin. Now we have Dane also playing Virizion Genesect. During this time, it was one, if not the best deck of this format. It was a direct counter to Sidestowed EX. Just because you're a grass type, you hit weakness on Sidestowed. If you those who don't know, Sidestowed has Quick Punch, make it where you can't play item cards, but it is weak to grass, which means that Genesect can one-shot it because it does 100 damage. But the question today is, can Sidestowed, a water-based deck, beat Virizion Genesect, which is a grass deck, right? Now, Jason, like I said, one of the most amazing players of all time. Like 3-time world champion, multiple regionals champion, U.S. Nationals champion. Dane, another fantastic Pokemon player. Unfortunately, he has passed away, but we at least get to have this video of him doing amazing things. I think this was the only video of him, but I know a lot of people, when they talk about Virizion Genesect, they talk about Dane's list, and they talk about this, like this finals. This is a very good finals. There's a lot of stuff that happens, and I'm excited to talk about it. And yeah, like I said, Jason, best player. Actually, Dane took down Ross, I think, right before this in top 4. So fantastic plays by both players. Amazing video to watch. And we're going to talk about today, and Dane did unfortunately start Jirachi. Jirachi, having that stellar wish to be able to search for a supporter card. And we'll see how this matchup goes. Jason does start Shaymin, and not a terrible start in this deck. So we are 2x speed, just to speed up. It is a very long game. We see Dane discard a Deoxys and a Boufflant with that Gold Breaker and the Boofer. Going to get that Virizion EX. Now, with Virizion, you want to get that turn 1 energy attachment. You want to get that turn 2 Emerald Slash, get 2 energies, own it, Genesect EX, and you actually do 100 damage. So we see a Grass Energy go into Virizion. We'll see what else Dane has here. We see a Juniper. In this format, you can play supporter cards going first, which is fantastic. We see another Virizion come down, and we see a pass, of course, onto Jason's turn. Now, Jason does start that Shaymin. You got setup. Now, you can use setup as many times as you want to. You're not limited like you are with Tatini. So, Jason can do, setup, draw 6, setup, draw 6, setup. Like, it could do this over and over again to basically draw through his deck. And you're going to see very quickly why Trump card was a banned card in the format. Almost immediately. Like I said, I think this is the only format that Trump card was allowed in. If I'm wrong, I apologize. But there you see Jason getting the dreaded Sidestowed EX with that Quake Punch. Just be able to say, okay, I only do 30. You can't play any item cards, but that alone is so strong in this format. And you'll definitely see that here. So we see Jason put down the Sidestowed. Looks like he's got a super scoop up. Going to flip a coin of heads, pick up Pokemon, and he does flip heads. Going to pick up that Shaymin, sit up the Sidestowed, and Jason is going to start doing Sidestowed stuff now. We see a Laser, Shaymin drawn 4. He does find a Skrelp. Dragalge makes it where, hey, if you're poisoned, you can't retreat, right? And this is a big deal because if you are poisoned and you can't retreat and you can't use item cards, your Pokemon is stuck there. Now, the good thing about Dane is he does have that Virizion EX. Virizion EX has Vertiwind, which says, hey, if you got a grass energy attached to it, you can't be affected by special conditions. So this is why it's a really good game. You got this deck that relies on poison, trying to lock down your opponent. They can't retreat. They can't play your item cards, all this kind of stuff. In Dane's side, you have this grass deck that can't be affected by special conditions. You have energy acceleration, and you'll see real quick what Jason's game plan is, right? And there's no energy acceleration in Dane's deck outside of this Emerald Slash, and there we go. We see the first Crushing Hammer. Crushing Hammer, flip a coin of heads, discard energy, and we see the energy being discarded off that Virizion EX. And that is heartbreaking because you need Emerald Slash. The only way you can Emerald Slash with Virizion EX in this format is you have to manually attach 2 energies. And you see, this is going to be a theme now. We see another laser coming down. Heads, that Jirachi is sleep. Cypher Toad will come down. Let's see. He does have an AZ, so he can AZ pick up a Shaymin if he wants to. We see a VS Seeker from Jason. Going to reuse his supporter card, and he does have that second more. Go discard his hand and draw 7 new cards. Discarded the Dragalge, and we see he does have Computer Search and Headbringer. Headbringer says, hey, you have to attach into the energy to this Pokemon to actually attack. So will Jason put one of those Headbringers on a Virizion EX or not? So he discards a Muscle Band, and he discards another Laser. No need for the Laser. That Jirachi is already asleep and poisoned. So you see, this is most likely going to get a DCE, of course, Computer Search, discard 2 cards out of your hand, grab any card out of your deck, and of course, that is going to be a DCE. He didn't already have it in his hand, and we see, a Muscle Band as well. Now, this is very, very crucial, because what's going to happen, it's going to do 80 damage, because you got the Poison, you got the Muscle Band, and now it's at 80. It stays asleep. We see a Grass Energy go into Virizion. Dane can't really put that on a Jirachi to get rid of the poison. And we see 2 prize cards taken for Jason almost immediately. Here we see a Crush Hammer. It is a Tails. So Dane's going to be feeling, okay, this is really good. We just need to hit all the Tails. How many hammers can he play in one turn? That's the big question. Well, with Shaymin, you can draw cards, draw cards, and then you can trump card. And we see a Trainer's Mail. Look at top 4 cards of your deck, grab a trainer card and put it into your hand. We do see that in to basically negate both players' hands. Now, Jason probably doesn't want to play this at all. He only gets 4 off this. And we do see Headringer going over Virizion and saying, hey, you need another energy to attack with that Virizion, which is very unfortunate. All right, so we see Jason does hit another DCE. He can start pounding that Cypher Toad EX on the bench if he wants to go about that way. Jason, he right now doesn't have knockout on the Dedenne, so we'll see. And yeah, we just see 50 damage. Now, the Dedenne is actually pretty clutch. It has that energy short. This attack does 20 damage times the amount of energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. And what this does, it lets you one-shot an Evotal, most likely. I'm pretty sure that's why it's played in this matchup. And we see a pass just onto Jason's turn. And so Dane, he does have the 2 energies attached to Virizion, but he needs 3 energies because of Headringer. Oh, man. Dane really wanted that turn 1 Muscle Band to get on that Virizion so he could counter Jason's Headringers. Now, we see Jason does have Team Flare Gun. We see an Absol going to move 30 damage from one Pokemon to another with that Cursed Eyes ability. We see a DC going to Seismitoad on the bench. I wonder why Jason didn't attach this last turn. You would think, maybe, I don't know why. You would think it'd be really cool to do that. So we see Sycamore for Jason. Just going to discard the hand. And we do see Trump Card go to the discard pile. I don't know if you saw that, but Trump Card is now in the discard pile. Oh, man. And we see another Hammer for Jason. So this Hammer, number 3, and it's a Tails. So no energy disruption once again. 2 Tails, unfortunately, so far for Jason. And we'll see what Jason has here. He's got, not a lot of cards left, but that's okay. He plays Trump Card. He can shove all of his cards and discard back at your deck. We see a Laser. And it looks like we see a Quake Punch for a knockout. Now on a Dane's turn, if he has a Grass Energy, he can start using Emerald Slash. And there we go. There's a Grass Energy and an N. Going to put Jason at 3 cards. Jason's already played multiple Super Scoop Ups. He's already put multiple Shaymins down. And Dane is really looking for a Genesect here. If he can find a Genesect, get that Emerald Slash, attach energies to the Genesect, he's in a really good shape. But does he actually want to attach it to a benched Virizion? We'll see. So he does get the Emerald Slash off. We're going to see 2 Grass Energies attached to the Virizion EX. That type still took 100 damage. So it is going to 2-shot this Toad. So Jason's already in some trouble already. He's already in trouble just from this 1 Emerald Slash, right? All right, so let's see what Jason's got here. He's got a Headringer. He's got a VS Seeker. he could Headringer, the Virizion EX, and we see Jason get that Trump card. Trump card will shuffle up both players' discard pile into their deck, and this will give Dane all of his energies back too. So we see see both players looking at each other's discard pile. It is public knowledge before you play it, and that Trump card actually does stay in the discard pile. It doesn't get shuffled back into the deck. So both players are going to shuffle up here. This is going to do a couple things for Jason. Well, it's going to reset all his hammers, right? He's going to be able to have access to his hammers. He's going to be able to use the crushed hammers over and over again, try to get rid of those energies. But now Virizion has a bunch of energies in his deck, right? So now Jason resets Dane's energy, and now, he can Emerald Slash for days and get a bunch of energy out. So we see Skyla look for his card for any trainer card. So let's see what he decides to grab here. Could grab that Juniper so he can discard his hand, draw on 7. Really wants to find that Genesect. That is what Dane wants to do. Now, what does Jason want to do? That's the big question. Well, I think he's hoping he gets a Virizion stuck active or a Genesect stuck active. And we see that Virizion now has 4 energies on it. Oh my goodness. Alright, so see Emerald Slash not going to use the effect to get any energies. And Jason does have these hammers now, right? So you can start playing hammers, but what does it do? And now we see Jason going for a different strategy here. We're going to see some Sky Return loops, and this is a very cool strategy that we see in some of these decks, because that Virizion only does 50 damage, so it's never going to one-shot a Shaymin. But what Jason can do is he can Sky Return and pick up it over and over again. We do see a Tool Remover, going to remove that Team Flare, and we see a Plasma Energy. Oh, man, and a Muscle Band. So now, all of a sudden, Jason not item locking. He's got the Genesect. He's got, the Plasma Energy, bring a Pokemon to the bench to the active. He's got all these cool things happening. He's got a Muscle Band, so now Jason can't Headringer that Genesect anymore unless Jason's got some kind of Tool Remover effect. And it is now looking great for Dane, right? He was in a bad place, but now he's coming back, right? He's got all these energies. He's got Energy Switch as well, so he can Energy Switch. Gonna move the energy from the active to the bench Genesect, and let's see what else happens here. He does have an Ultra Ball, but at this point, I don't think you Ultra Ball. I think you just go for that Emerald Slash, getting some energies, attaching to the bench Genesect, and that is what we see here. Gonna get 2 energies to that Genesect, so now that Genesect is ready to go. It's got some one-shot potential, and also what it could do is one-shot a Shaymin now. Jason can't go for this Sky Return loop, right? Because Shaymin can get knocked out by a Megalo Cannon, because it does do 120, which does knock out a Shaymin EX. So things are not looking good for Jason now. Dane is, doing everything he can. And let's see if Crush Hammer tells. Okay, we see a Headringer onto the other Virizion. And I think what Jason wants to do now is somehow bring up that bench Virizion and get it stuck. It's going to be very, very hard to do because Dane probably plays like a million grass energies, right? And that's what these Virizion Genesect decks do. So we see Shaymin going to draw. We have some cards. We see another Crushing Hammer, and let's see what it flips. And it looks like it is a Tails. I think Jason's asking, does he need to reflip because it fell off the table? I think that's what the judges are checking real quick, because the coin did flip off the table, and we want to see, does it count? Does it not count? And we're just going to check with the head judge real quick and see what's happening. But let's talk about the board state real quick. So Dane's got all these energies in play, right? He's got 3 on the active. He's got 3 grass on the other Genesect. So I think Jason's plan is to get all these grass energies off that Virizion on the left-hand side and make it, hey, you can't, retreat. You don't have any energies to retreat it. And I think right now they're trying to discuss, hey, where does this coin go, right? Does it count? Does it not count? And I think that's the question here. So, all right. So it looks like it did not count. I imagine it was it was a heads. So it was a head. So it discarded energy off the bench Genesect. So it looks like Jason's actually wants to disrupt that Genesect to make it where it can't use Megalo Cannon. So we see Ultra Ball, going to discard 2 cards. I imagine we'll see another Shaymin come into play. Going to use setup, draw more cards, draw to have 6 again. And Jason really, really wants to just discard these energies off this Genesect. Okay, so let's see. You see a Shaymin coming out. Okay, and I guess if Jason can get a Genesect stuck active, that's just as good, right? But I think Jason's still in a very bad spot right now. So we see another Crushing Hammer. Okay, let's see what this flips. And it is a heads. So let's see what Jason does with this. He can remove it off the active, and then he can Team Flare Grunt one off the active because he hasn't played a supporter card just yet. And that's what we see. And we see a Quake Punch for another 30 damage. Now, if Jason were to remove another Grass Energy off the active, that Virizion would actually be at 0 energies. But that Virizion just has a 1 energy retreat cost. And now Sky Arrow Bridge has came into play, which gives 1 less retreat cost, making where that Virizion does have free retreat now. We do see this Genesect come up, and we will see a Megalo Cannon do 120, and probably put the 20 on just Shaymin with no energies, right? So you can't Sky Return Loop. Now Dane is down to 2 prize cards all of a sudden, so it's not looking good for Jason. And we see a Shaymin come up with that DCE. You know, all Dane needs next turn is maybe a Plasma Energy. It could bring up a bench Shaymin or something like that. Take us the last 2 prize cards. We do see a Trainer's Mail from Jason. Looks like he is going to find a Crushing Hammer. Now, Hammer can discard a Grass Energy off the active, and I think that's what Jason wants to do here. If he gets all these energies off this Genesect, goes for a Quake Punch, and make it where Mega Cannon never can do anything, then you're in a good spot. We see, okay, another heads. Wow, okay, so, I mean, Jason was flipped with some tails, but now he's flipped with some heads. It's going his way now. And we do see Grass Energy being taken off the active. Now, if Jason does have some kind of VS Seeker and can get rid another Grass Energy with Team Flare Gun, he looks in a really good spot. They receive a Burbank City Gym, and we see an N. So this is a really big N here because Dane's only going to get 2 energies. There's already a bunch of Grass Energies in his discard pile. And Jason, I think he might already be out of he might be out of all of his hammers. And we do see an enhanced hammer discarding a special energy off the active. So now what Jason could do is he can Sky Return and set up like Scralp, set up Absol or something like that. Because you really don't want to send up a Shaymin or a Scythe because all Dane needs now is a Coalition Machine. Cold Machine and a Grass Energy. Because Cold Machine can search it for Plasma Energy, attach 20 Plasma Pokemon, and then attach a Grass Energy. Looks like Jason is contemplating this Seismitoad, but I don't think sending up the Seismitoad is the correct play, because I think I like sending up the Absol or Scralp instead. Looks like Jason, okay. So there's the Absol coming up. And I do like this play a lot more. It makes it where Dane really can't win the game this turn unless he, Plasma Energies, the Genesect brings up a Toad, Energy Switch, bring up a Grass Energy from bench Virizion to the active. And we do see a Juniper discard in the hand, draw on 7. Can Dane find this combination of Plasma Energy, Energy Switch, knockout Size Toad, knockout Shaymin play, which would be pretty nice. Because Dane can't attack with the Virizion on the left because it needs 1 more energy. Same with the Virizion on the right, it needs 1 more energy. And yeah, we'll see how this goes. And we'll also look in Dane's favor, but these hammers, it's what makes the format. We know how it is now in Standard, and people complain about hammers now, but it's been the same way for a long time. And there we see the energy switch get attached to the Genesect, okay. And now does Dane have any type of energy? It looks like he does not right now, and we see a VS Seeker probably grabbing it. Okay, Shadow Triad. What this means is that next turn, Dane can find a Plasma Energy, bring up that size to it, and win the game that way. It makes it, there's Virizion in the active. It only has 1 energy to retreat, so he can retreat if need be. We do see a laser. It does not matter, even because it has Grass Energies. It can't be poison. It can't be asleep regardless. We see a DC going to Toad. Now, what does Jason need here? Well, he pretty much needs a miracle. Shadow Triad makes it where you search your discard pile for 1 Plasma Energy, and that means he can find a Plasma Energy for that Genesect, right? And then he can bring up Side so take a knockout. So we see a DC going to Shaymin. We see Shaymin going to set up. Maybe Jason can find a VS Seeker for in. That might be his only real out. And you can basically end your opponent down to 2. You can pick up a Shaymin, right? We see a Muscle Band because that absolutely only has 1 retreat cost. So it can retreat with the Sky Out Bridge in play. So we see a Super Scoop up from Jason. Looks like he's trying to think, what do I want to pick up if I do flip heads? And I think you pick up the Shaymin, right? Yeah, you pick up Shaymin, and then you get in. So both players are going to end. They're going to shuffle up. Jason's going to get 3. Dane's going to get 2. Now, the big thing, like I said, is Jason will be able to retreat that Absol Sky Return, pick up the damage Shaymin, and then send up the Absol again, because it does have free retreat. So Dane does not have that Plasma Energy play, but you see in Dane's hand, spoiler alert, he does have that Plasma Energy. So we see, Shaymin come up, and looks like we will see Dane take game number 1 for sure. And we see maybe a Muscle Band attachment to the Scythetone, and we will see a Sky Return for 50, send up Skrelp, send up Absol, guess it doesn't matter. And we see the Plasma Energy, bring it up the Scythetone, retreat to the Genesect, and we'll see an Emerald Slash. Dane will take game number 1. So, we're not going to sit here and wait. Let's fast forward some, right? There's, Jay Woods and Puka talking about the game. I talk about how it went. And it looks like we do see a mulligan from Jason. And I imagine Jason will decide to go first here. You can attack on the first turn, and Dane starts Deoxys. Now, this is probably the worst Pokemon that Dane wants to start with. That Deoxys has a 2 retreat cost, which unfortunately means that Dane can't retreat that with a Skyo Bridge, right? Luckily enough, with Virizion and Genesect, they have 1 retreat cost, so Skyo Bridge can give you free retreat. But with this Deoxys, it has a 2 retreat cost, and this is a really big deal. So now Jason has this kind of like out that he can stall his opponent, right? Jason can, make it where you can't switch, Float Stone, anything like that, because you could Quake Punch. And I think this is a very different game all of a sudden because that Deoxys is in the active spot. So we'll see how this does affect it. And I imagine it will affect the game in a big way, because now you have to attach a Grass Energy, and then you have to retreat that Deoxys, right? So this is a little bit scary if you are Dane. Jason's probably thinking, oh goodness, yes, this is exactly what I want to see. But can you attack on the first turn in this format? I can't remember in 2015. Maybe you can't. I think you can, though. We'll see. If he Quake Punches for 30, we'll find out real quick. If Jason finds a DCE here, then we're definitely going to see a Quake Punch here. And if it's that, what do you do if you're Dane? Do you just like scoop immediately? Right? If you can't attack turn 1. Now, if Jason doesn't grab a DCE, then you can't attack turn 1. I can't remember when the rules change. I can't remember anything. It's been so long ago. It's been like, what, 6 years? Of course, we didn't see Jason's card. I didn't see it. Did you see it? It's a DCE. Okay, it does not look like a DCE. You see Shaymin, draw 3. All right. And he's got a laser. He's got a Verbeck City Gem. Can make it where you can knock out this Pokemon quicker. Laser. Let's see what happens. Looks like it fell off the table. Entails, okay. He does have the Verbeck City Gem, but I think you hold off on it for right now. I don't think there is any reason to play it. And since Jason didn't grab a DC, I don't think you can attack turn 1. Muscle Band. I don't recall. It's been so long. I know people probably remember it better than I do. Let's see. So we just see a pass on a Dane's turn. So didn't find a head ringer. A head ringer in the Deoxys could be a very big thing here. So see it. Ultra Ball actually discarding a Skyo Bridge, and I think, what are we talking about right now? I don't know. Let's fast forward some. I'm not sure what's really going on. Let's see. I don't know. But we see Ultra Ball. Who knows what it was? We'll never know. We see Ultra Ball discarding Energy Switch and a Skyo Bridge. Now, the Skyo Bridge is being discarded is very important because now Dane can't counter the Verbeck City Gem that's in Jason's hand next turn. And that's one less Skyo Bridge in Dane's hand. But we know Jason does play good old Lysandre's Trump Card. So we see Virizion EX come out. Okay. There's probably see just a Grass Energy attachment to it. But how do you retreat this Deoxys going forward? That's the big question on everybody's hand, right? See Muscle Band, and we just see a pass. Maybe Dane just lets this Deoxys, maybe he just lets it get knocked out. Maybe you just say, hey, I don't care. You just knock it out. You're going to Quake Punch, and eventually you are just going to knock out this Deoxys, and I'm just going to manually power up this Virizion on the bench. And maybe that is the play here. So we see Verbeck City Gem come into play. Okay. We see a Hammer. Hammer goes, nope. See a Shaymin drawn 4. He's got a Super Scoop Up and another Hammer, so let's see what Hammer number 2 says. Nope. Okay. 50-50 chance. Jason is 0-2 this game so far with the Hammers. That's 2 Hammers gone 2. There's a DAC to the active. Super Scoop Up. Tails. So Jason's now 0-3 on flipping. See another Shaymin come down. He does have Sycamore, so he can discard his hand. And I think I like at this point too. In this time, you can now play Juniper or Sycamore in your decks. That's pretty cool. It is expanded format, which is the same thing now. But it's cool that we are at a point right now that Juniper and Sycamore both exist because I can't remember when anything happens. Trainer's mode, look at top 4, finds a laser if he wants to burn that card. Maybe you just burn it just so you don't have it in your deck. Muscle Band's also a good card too, just attached to the other side of Toad. So you get that Quake and Punch attack off if he wants to. He's got 3 Muscle Bands. So 1, 2, Shaymin drawn 5. He's got Zerosic and DCE. Now, if you're Jason, I think you just Sycamore here. Just discard the hand. You could Zerosic and hope to find a Headringer, right? You get Zerosic. Okay, so you get Zerosic the Muscle Band off the bench, Frisian. And then next turn you find a Headringer. And then Dane can attack regardless because he can't pick up the Deoxys. And then you can attach a Headringer the following turn, making it where they need 3 energies to attack. So, I wonder if that's what Jason's contemplating. Looks like he's going to Zerosic that Muscle Band. Okay, so now if he finds a Headringer, it makes it where, of course, that Virizion needs 3 energy attacks. So we see an energy attachment. We see a pass. That Deoxys goes to the 130. So that Deoxys will get knocked out going into Dane's turn. But then we'll see an Emerald Slash show. I imagine Jason really wants to find a Headringer. Really wants to find a hammer. Flip heads on it. So we do see a Super Scoop up. Going to pick up a Shaymin with the Muscle Band. Let's see what else he decides to do. Looks like we've seen Ultra Ball discarding Skrelp. And let's see what else he discards here. Zerosic maybe. Oh, or Lysandre, sorry. Or Boss Order, for those who don't know. It's the same thing. We see an Ultra Ball. I think, once again, they're talking about stuff. Okay, I think they're talking about the headphones or something. And now this is also very early Pokemon streaming regionals, if I remember correctly, too. So I imagine they were working out some bugs or something. If I remember correctly, I could be wrong. I know they recorded some of the worlds before this, but I think regionals was like this was the year, or then the year before they started recording the regionals, like Pokemon actually did. See Ultra Ball, it's going to fail it. Not going to grab anything. Jason's going to burn the hand down. We'll see Shaymin draw more cards. Okay, so you already played Sycamore. You can't play another supporter card. And it looks like he did not find a Headringer for this Virizion. So now, Jason took a knock on the Deoxys, his only real way. And we see the Deoxys come down. Jason, I don't know what he said. It was probably like, man, drawn super hot or something. See the Emerald Slash. And Jason, it looks like he's in trouble, right? What do you do now? This Genesect on the bench has 2 energies. This Virizion the active has 2 energies. You're down, 3 Crushing Hammers. You haven't seen a Headringer. It's all going Dane's way. And I'm excited because Virizion is one of my favorite decks of all time. I love this deck. It just came off winning a World Championship this year. It won 2014. And, we'll see what happens. So we see Headringer going to that Virizion. We see a Team Flare Grunt discarding a Grass Energy off the active. And let's see, what else does Jason find here? I mean, doesn't look like he has much. We do see a Verbeek Shitty Geom come down, which means that Dane will have to discard that last Grass Energy attached to the Virizion. So we do see Trump card. And we'll see if Jason decides to play the Trump card this turn. What this does, it does get all the Grass Energies back into Dane's deck, but it also gives Jason back all of his Crushing Hammers. So if you are going to play... if you're going to play Trump card this turn, do you... Okay, no, he's going to VS Seeker for a supporter card. Team Flare Grunt. Oh, he already played a supporter card this turn. Okay. And we see a Quake Punch for 30. It should be... Oh, yeah, it's got resistance. It's got resistance, Josh. So Plasma Energy, bringing up the fresh Toad. And what this allows it to do, it allows you to do Mega Cannon, take a knockout. But now that Virizion on the bench can knock out that Toad. So that's pretty nice. Alright, so let's see what Jason decides to do here. He can set up this Toad. We know he has Team Flare Grunt in hand, so you can't discard a Grass Energy, right? But what does Jason do after that? If he had some kind of Enhanced Hammer plus Team Flare Grunt play, you're golden. You got all the energies you need. But right now, just going to discard a Grass Energy, DCE to that Shaymin, and we might just see a Quake and Punch for 50 damage. The Genesect does not have resistance. And now it's going to move to Dane. Does he have another Grass Energy in his hand? So see a Quake and Punch for 50. And he has a Plasma Energy, and there's an end. Both players are going to get 4 cards. Can Dane find a Grass Energy? And if he does, man, you got to think Dane has it, right? He's going to pick up that win, go take the 2-0, and get out of here, become a regional champion, right? But I don't see a Grass Energy in Dane's hand. Okay, so I don't see a Grass Energy, and he's going to put down a fresh Genesect. We'll see a pass. Okay, so let's see what Jason decides to do here. He's got Enhanced Hammer, and he's got VS Seeker. So what this can allow Jason to do is he can grab the VS Seeker for Flare Grunt. See Trainer's Mill. See, there's a laser and a Crushing Hammer. So I imagine you hammer here first. You see what you flip, try to discard that Grass Energy, right? So yeah, we'll see Jason probably go for the hammer here. Try to get rid of the Grass Energy. I don't think, or do you? See if he goes for Team Flare Gun. Looks like he's going to go for the automatic, like, hey, I'm going to for sure take your energy away, and then Enhanced Hammer. And now, Dane's side of the field, oh man, it is not looking good. Jason kept a Grass Energy, so as long as Dane attaches an energy, Jason has that hammer to pretty much disrupt that energy. So now the tides have turned. It looks like Jason's, all of a sudden he's in a very good spot. So we'll see what happens. Dane, does he find a Grass Energy? And if you do find a Grass Energy, who do you attach it to? I think you attach it to the benched Virizion if you do find a Grass Energy. It looks like you see a Plasma Energy. Going to attach, retreat, send up the Virizion with damage on it, and just pass onto Jason's turn. Now, Jason, he does have VS Seeker, which could get Trump Card. He's got AZ in hand. Okay, so Trump Card is already in his hand. So we see Trump Card, or the Shaymin being picked up. We might just see a Quake Punch here. I don't think he really needs to play anything else. I think Jason is going to look at Dane's discard pile, see what's all in there. And I imagine Jason's just going to go for Quake Punch for 30 and just slowly try to dwindle down this Virizion. And I imagine next turn we might see a Trump Card. See Grass Energy, see that Virizion. Skyla, got to search his deck for any supporter card. And grabs a Juniper. Alright, so this Juniper is a big deal. Because now Jason decides to go for a Trump card next turn. Dane has all those cards shuffled back into his deck, and he has Juniper to discard his hand, draw 7. So we'll see what Jason does here. He does have a hammer in hand. So we see Crushing Hammer. If it flips heads, big deal. And it is a heads. Alright, so Jason does discard that Grass Energy off the bench for Virizion. And let's see if Jason decides to go for a Trump card play. We see a VS Seeker. Could maybe grab... grab a Sycamore. Okay. If he's grab a Sycamore and he doesn't play it, then we're definitely going to see a Trump card. We'll see a VS Seeker. Going to grab another supporter card here. And I think he is really going for a Trump card play just because he's putting all these supporter cards in his hand. And they receive Trump card. Both players will shuffle their discard pile into their deck. And it's going to come down to hammers, unfortunately, right? It's going to come down to, can Jason keep flipping these hammers over and over and over again? Because right now, Dane does not have energies in the field, right? And if he attaches energy, it's going to, how many hammers can Jason find to disrupt these energies? All right, so 4 to 4 on prize cards. See both players shuffling up here. Going to get some new cards. We see Shaymin. Do you use Shaymin? Do you wait? So we see Shaymin. Going to draw some cards. Does find Super Scoop Up. Does find Hammer. Screw Up. I don't think it's useful. Unfortunately, it could be. No, I don't think it's useful. Super Scoop Up. It's a Tails. And we might see a Quick Punch for 30 here. We could Ultra Ball. Maybe grab another Shaymin. No, you can't grab another Shaymin. There's only Shaymins on the field. Alright, so we see a Quick Punch for 30. Juniper, discard the hand. Draw 7 new cards. Does Dane find a Grass Energy? And let's see. There's a Virizion coming down. We see a Shaymin. Okay, the first Shaymin from Dane's side. But unfortunately, does not find him a Grass Energy. How unfortunate. Let's see what he decides to do here. We might just see a pass on Jason's turn. Or wait, is it already Jason's turn? Did I miss that? Looks like it's already Jason's turn, if I'm being honest. But what does Jason do here? Right? Do you keep just... I think you just keep Quake Punching here, right? You just try to take this slow knockout on this Virizion, right? Because Dane's going to need 2 energies attachments. Or maybe 3 if he doesn't find a Skyo Bridge. So... we'll see, but we see it's all come down to hammers, right? It's gonna come down to hammers. Because Jason can't play Lysander and play you know, Team Flagger at the same time. So we'll see. We see it slides to come down. I imagine Jason doesn't drop this slides to unless he has a DC attachment. We do see an AZ put him back in the hand. Drops down a Toad. Looking at a player's discard pile. We're gonna see. Okay, nope. We see a Quake Punch here. Okay, this could be a big deal. Okay, so nope, just a Grass Energy attachment and Skyla. Skyla's going to search his deck for a Skyro Bridge. Get rid of that Verbeck City Gem. Going to allow him to have free retreat. So now Jason is going to have to bump that Skyro Bridge because if not, Dane can attach a Grass Energy, free retreat. Oh, he already is going to go for the free retreat here and save his Rizzy from being knocked out. Dane's just playing, you know, I'm going to let you take forever to take a knockout because that Rizzy is at 120 HP. So with the laser, it would knock it out because it would do 60, and it would be 180 damage. So very smart move from Dane there, retreating that very hurt damage Rizian. We do see a computer search, and I imagine this is going to probably find a hammer. I'm like pretty sure it's going to find a hammer, just because you wouldn't try to discard the energy off that bridge for Rizian. You would find another, like, you just want it. You don't want Dane to attack. That's the key here, right? You could hypothetically maybe go for the knock on the Vrizian, but we don't care about that. We don't want Dane to Emerald Slash again. That's the big thing here. So here goes hammers, heads. All right, and do we see the Juniper being played? He does have laser. Jason can, you know, put this Vrizian asleep and affect it by special conditions. It could be a big deal here. It's like Jason's trying to decide, does he play this laser? I think at this point you do, just to start racking up damage. And we see Sycamore discard his hand, draw 7 new cards. He does find a DCE for the other sides to it. I think it's very crucial to put that down right now. So there's no like red signal in play. But nope, Jason's just gonna go. Wow, Colors for 10. Oh my goodness. But no, Jason just pass. Gonna do 60 with the Verbeck City Gem and the Quake Punch. Quake Punch does 30. Poison. It makes it to 40. Verbeck City Gem, additional 20, 60. It actually would do 80, but it's got the resistance. So, but we do see 10 cards from Dane. You got to think he finds a Grass Energy here. There's a Skyro Bridge, bumping that Verbeck City Gem. We do see Grass Energy to that Vrizian. We see retreat into the Genesect. That way the poison damage does not rack up. And we see a pass on to Jason's turn. Once again, so we go down to these flips. Let's see what this is. Oh, it's another heads. Okay. Jason, once again, finds a hammer. Flips heads on it. He's got a laser if he wants to go for that. Oh, man. Okay. So let's see what Jason does with this hand. He does have laser. Once again, he can play it. Looks like we might see a Via Seeker. What does Via Seeker grab here? It could grab Lysander, bring up somebody. But Jason doesn't have a Verbeck City Gem for knockout right now. So Jason can't knock out the Verizian on the bench or the Genocide. But we do see Lysander come into hand. Does he play it? No, we see a Trainer's Mill first. And he does have that Verbeck City Gem. So now Jason can bring up the Verizian or the Genesect and take a knockout this turn. Wow. All right. So I imagine we will see that from Jason. Jason can bring up the Verizian or the Genesect. I wonder which one is the more optimal target. Maybe the Genesect. I think that's probably the better play. Okay, so what he's going to do, he's going to knock out the Vrizian with Headringer. So this makes sense now. You knock out the Vrizian with the Headringer, so you get the Headringer back into your deck if you do decide to trump card. So we do see a Quick Punch for knockout. Once again, put Dane 0 cards. Jason's at 2 prize cards. We see a Juniper. Wow, no Grass Energies in sight. We know there's a bunch in the deck. There has to be a bunch. So Grass Energy, the Celebi Grass Energy. Does Dane play like all different Grass Energies? That's what it looks like. Jason looks like he has another hammer in hand. So he could hammer. Let's see what this one is. And it's another heads. Okay, so Jason flipped another heads. Wow, okay. Okay, let's see what happens here. Jason can, of course, we're seeing Quake Punch, 100%. I don't think Jason even plays Water Energies. You can't even go for a Grenade Hammer. See another Quick Punch doing, it should do 50. Yeah, there we go. Jason's got it. We see Grass Energy attached to Verizian. I'm like certainly certain that Dane plays all different grass energies. So we see maybe retreat. Oh, you can't retreat because there's not a Sky Bridge to play. Okay. And let's see, what does Jason have here? I don't know what they're discussing. Maybe it's close to being time. I think that's the issue, but I can't be 100% certain either. This is 2 times speed, obviously. They're not playing that fast. So, let's see. Okay, so Hammer's Tails. So the first Hammer, it's the first Tails in a good minute. That was a Super Scuba, not Hammer, I'm sorry. So there's a Hammer. And it was a Tails. Okay, that's a big deal here. And I think Jason is turn 0 right now. I think that's what they're discussing. And if Dane does not take 2 prize cards in the turns, then I think Jason is technically the winner. Right? So we see Skyla. Skyla can find a Skyro Bridge. Oh man. Oh man. Can Dane squeak it out at the end? So Skyla for the Skyro Bridge. Go to free retreat to this Virizion. Does he have a grass energy? Or any kind of energy? Doesn't matter. Doesn't have to be grass. It can be a plasma energy if we want to. And that will take a knockout on this Virizion. So we'll have to see what happens here. What does Dane... So he... Oh, was he a pass? Did he... Maybe he attached... Huh. Because I thought he had plasma energy to take a knockout. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I missed something. But we'll see. I imagine Dane would... Okay, so there's a plasma energy. I thought he attached it the turn before. We'll see. Maybe Jason has to take all of his prize cards to win this game. And that's the reasoning behind this. And if you just stall out, then you're okay. I can't remember the rules 100% right now. So we see a Quake Punch for 30. And so it is Dane's turn for turn 3. And so yeah, so I think that's what I think Dane realized that he couldn't have won either way. Maybe that was the issue. I'm not 100% sure. But now what gets to happen is we go to sudden death. Both players get 1 card, right? So Jason did his thing. He was able to, get all the energies off for his Genesect. Couldn't attack or anything. So now we're in sudden death. 1 prize card. First one take a knockout wins. 100% is what's going to happen. All right. And the big thing, it's going to come down to hammers, right? Now, I think Jason is somewhat favored in this because what Jason can do is he can end both players to 1 card. But Jason plays 4 Shaymins while Dane looks like he only plays the 1, right? So both players are going to get 1 card. I'll say Jason did have a mulligan. There's Virizion and there's Virizion. All right, so on to Jason's turn. So he has a DCE, Headringer attachment, turn 1. We see a DCE. We see a Muscle Band. Sycamore, discard his hand, draw 7 new cards. There's a laser, so Jason can play a laser, start racking that damage up if he wants to do it that way. And imagine this is going to be a long 1 prize to be taken. It's a laser. Let's see what happens. Heads, that Virizion is poisoned and asleep. Okay. We see an Ultra Ball. Going to discard 2 cards. Looks like he discarded 2 lasers. Jason's saying, hey, you know what? Cards are useless. What I need my hammers. We need a hammer. So we see Shaymin. Looks like we see Shaymin going to Jason's hand. Like I said, I think the game plan is you try to end Dane. If you can get this in playoff, then you look really good. So Shaymin going to Jason's hand. Going to shuffle up here. Let's see what happens. Let's see, what does Jason find? Maybe another Headringer. Second Headringer could be really good. But that tool mover, I think it removes 2 tool cards. So you could remove double Headringer if we do decide to see that. Jason does have double Shaymin, but maybe you just hold him. All right, nope, we see Shaymin play. Okay. Got another VS Seeker. Not optimal. We're going to find out real quick if you can Quake Punch turn 1. So double Headringer comes down. Wow, okay. But I'm pretty sure Tool Remover removes 2 tool cards. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it does. Shaymin for another 3. Okay, Jason is doing his thing. He's got another laser if he wants to. He's got Skrelp. And, okay, just putting the poison market down. A question I'm trying to remember. Can you attack turn 1? We'll find out. Yeah, VS Seeker, that's not useful. He does have Skrelp. I don't think Skrelp's useful here. I think you just hold off, use that space for Shaymins. And, okay, so you can attack turn 1. All right, and he does flip tails, so that Virizion is still just snoozing. So Skylar's going to come down. Do we see that tool remover card that I'm talking about? Oh, I see it. We're going to find out if it's 2 tools. I'm like pretty sure it's 2 tools. And look at Jason's. Jason's like, He's like, I hope that 1 card was prized. And there we go. It does remove 2 like I thought. He does have a G booster. He can put a G booster on Virizion if he wants to. And that might seem silly, but what this does... Oh my goodness, Dane doesn't find a grass energy. Oh no, this is huge. This is a really big deal now because you need to attach your grass energies, right? Now, Jason, he'll be able to Quake a Punch here, right? You know, take 30 and then bring it up to 50. Once again, we're in this like 1 card situation. If Jason could somehow... I think the big thing is here, can Jason find an in? If Jason finds an in, oh, it's a totally different game now because you end Dane to 1 card, and then you're Quake a Punch, Quake a Punch, Quake a Punch, trying to find a Verbeck City Gem, all this good stuff. And now, you know, it might have seemed impossible at the start. You know, Sideshow's weak to grass, Virizin's got this, you know, energy acceleration, but, you know, it looks like it's slowly going to Jason's favor. We see a crush, not a Crush Name, a Hypnotoxic Laser, putting that Virizion to sleep, poison it. We do see a Shaymin can draw 3 more cards. I think he's contemplating, does he put down Absol to gain that 1 more card? Looks like he is going to put, nope, going to Shaymin here for 3. I do like not putting it down because you can't Ultra Ball away. And Jason does find it. So he has the in, he has the Verbeck City Gem, he has everything that he needs right now. And I imagine Jason will go for in here, but put both players at 1 card. See if Jason decides to do so. I think that's what Jason's contemplating like a lot right now. Does he play in? I think the answer is yes. No, so he doesn't go for the in here. Okay. So no in play. All right, so in Dane's turn, he does find that grass energy, finds a Jirachi. Now, Jirachi could be a big deal here. So we see another Skyward Bridge come down. We can give that Virizion free retreat. Okay. And he gets switched to that Virizion, attach a grass energy. But, okay, I think you retreat to the Genesect. Yeah, 100%. So you retreat to the Genesect. We'll see a pass on a Jason's turn. Let's see what Jason decides to do here. So he does have a Lysandre. So what Jason, man, but then Dane can just free retreat it. So that's not good. Hammer, and that's a huge heads. Oh my goodness, that is a huge head flip there. Okay, so we'll see what happens. Jason does have Ultra Ball. He could maybe search for another Shaymin. He does have Lysandre, could bring some off the bench to the active. Do you bring up the Jirachi? Yes. Okay, so you bring up the Jirachi. It only has 90 HP. It can easily be knocked out. And we see Absol. Absol can move 3 damage counters from the... okay, 50. So now Dane has to find... Ultra Ball discarding double Juniper can't because he's been Quake a Punch. We see Juniper discard his hand. And Jason has it. He's got the VS Seeker. And he can target down the Jirachi and win the game. Oh my goodness. There's a Genesect come down. Now, Dane could Plasma Energy bring up... But no. Plasma Energy. We see VS Seeker for Lysandre. Bring up the Jirachi. And Jason does the unthinkable and takes down the competition. That is so insane. And that's the fun thing about this format. But like I said, right after this, that card does get banned. Trump card does get banned. And eventually, a couple years later, Shaymin does also get the ban. So that's why we see Shaymin. That's how we see Trump card being banned. They are so strong in combination together. That's why you immediately had to ban a Trump card because of how strong it was. And then Shaymin later on had to get banned when we finally reprinted cards like Dedenne and Crobat. But great plays by both players. Jason, phenomenal. Dane doing a fantastic job. And guys, hope you learned something new about this format. about 2015 and what happened and why Trump Card and Shaymin eventually got banned. So guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow for Expanded Thursday. Alrighty, bye. And if there's a video you want me to watch and commentate and talk about, let me know. I am down. Thanks, Boog and Jaywitz. Appreciate y'all. Alrighty, guys.